What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Take Three podcast. My name is Brandon, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Alex. We're here Wednesday evening to preview Week 11 coming up fast. Obviously, these NFL these weeks just fly by, right? It's Thursday night. You finish up Monday Night Football, and then Thursday comes, and we're right back at it. Obviously, this week New England, they look great. Last week they go on the road now to play in Atlanta, who obviously did not look good. I mean, there's some other decent matchups on the slate when you look at Buffalo trying to keep things going, Indianapolis fighting for their lives, Baltimore going on the road to Chicago to kind of rewrite the ship for that disastrous game in Miami last Thursday night. Long week to prepare for that. We'll see how it goes. Chicago, notoriously kind of a weird, tough place to go in and play on the road. We get good divisional matchup with Aaron Rodgers going on the road to play the Vikings. Obviously, he could probably sun Kirk Cousins again. We got Joe Flacco coming out of the catacombs to play. Who else? We got Cincinnati and Las Vegas, kind of winner goes on, loser goes home type deal. And then obviously the big one game of the week, probably Dallas on the road, heads to Arrowhead. We know what Kansas City did last week. They looked like they were back. We know what Dallas did last week. Got back, dominated the Falcons. So, I mean, before we really dive into Thursday Night Football off the jump, how are we feeling rolling into Week 11?
Feeling much better about this week than the last few. Looking for a bounce back week. I'm excited for some of these matchups. Actually, super excited for a Dallas Cowboys game, which is weird to say as an Eagles fan. But yeah, there's actually some pretty good matchups this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend.
For sure, I agree. Obviously, we get Arizona as well going into Seattle. Not really a great matchup record-wise, but they seem to always put on good games regardless of the record. Always some crazy, stupid stuff goes on, and it makes it interesting. Kyler Murray obviously on track to. He said he's going to be good to go, so he's a lock to go. We'll have Kyler versus Russ. That'll be good to watch. Sunday Night Football, kind of a dumpster fire. Big Ben still isn't cleared. I know Minkah Fitzpatrick got put on the COVID list. Joey Bosa got put on the COVID list. So, I mean, that's looking like a disappointing primetime game. And then obviously Week 11 closes up with the Giants and the Bucs, which we will get into for sure. But I mean, let's get it. Without further ado, let's jump into another heated Thursday night battle. Obviously, the Patriots 6-4. They looked great, beat the hell out of the Browns last week, ran the ball all over them. Mac Jones hitting almost any pass that he wanted to. He had a field day. The Browns couldn't get off the field. They really couldn't get the offense going. Big win for them. And then they go on the road to play a team that just got the shit kicked out of them, the Atlanta Falcons. It's kind of a dicey one. When I saw 7 on the spread, I was like, is Atlanta going to look that bad? Or, I mean, last week I sat back and said, at least they can score points. They only scored 3. So I'm not saying that this week, because clearly we saw, dude, when you say they can score some points, they don't score. They're 4-5. This just feels like set up to be another weird Thursday night game. Last week was weird Thursday night with the Ravens and the Dolphins. It feels like a weird one. I played it safe when Patriots, even though they're a touchdown favorite, don't really feel great, because it's like short week rookie quarterback could look weird. But I mean, I'm going to trust that Bill Belichick has his guys ready. It seems like Mac Jones saw him at the podium, seems like a New England robot already, answering the questions. He's like, Bill has him on mind tap. And I just trust the Patriots are going to run the ball. They're going to abuse the Falcons' bad defense, and I don't trust Matt Ryan anymore. The Patriots, they've been covering tight ends pretty well. They've only allowed 30-plus receiving yards to one tight end this year. That was Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys in Week 6. So, I mean, we know Kyle Pitts. We know that Atlanta's really tried to make him a focal point of the offense with Calvin Ridley out, obviously taking a break for mental health. So, I mean, if they shut down Kyle Pitts, Cordarrelle Patterson, who's kind of been an all-around guy for the Falcons, he's looking like he's going to be out. It's a short week, high ankle sprain. I doubt he plays. The Patriots are also undefeated on the road. The Falcons do not have a win inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Their only home win this year was in London. So, I mean, how do we unwrap this? I kind of figure the Patriots will win, and now they'll lose. But, I mean, what do you see going on here?
Yeah, so this is like a heavy Patriots game. Patriots all over, right? It feels weird because it's a short week for them. Thursday night, I sat here last week and said I really like the Ravens in that Thursday night last week against the Dolphins. It didn't turn out well, and I feel like the weird Thursday night games are the only reason we're kind of like not confident or hesitant in New England. Because if this was like a noon Sunday game, I think we would all feel good about New England by a touchdown because this Atlanta team is just not very good defensively. Like you said, they're going to abuse them on the ground. Mac Jones is going to make good throws. But to me, it's like that New England's defense is going to be able to shut down that Falcons offense. They aren't allowing tight ends to go off at all. Bill Belichick is known for taking away the number one weapon, which would be Kyle Pitts, tight end position. That is clearly the focal point of the offense. Still no Calvin Ridley. Like you said, Cordero Patterson, game time decision. Even if he does play, is he 100%? Probably not. So it's really hard to have faith in this Falcons offense to score points, and I don't think they'll be able to slow down New England. The only reason it feels weird is because it's a short week Thursday night game, which we saw last week. Weird stuff happens. I'd feel really good if it was like a Sunday noon game, New England with confidence. I still like New England by the touchdown. They should win by 2 possessions, but like that's on paper, right? It's a short week. It's in Atlanta. Weird things happen. Atlanta got their ass kicked last week. They'll want to play better, but it should be like when you break down this game, it should be all New England.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, he eats against Matt Ryan as well. Matt Ryan's 0-4 facing Bill Belichick. We just this is everything's trending in the right direction for the Patriots. It's just a weird spread game. Like, I don't know where to go. I mean, everything does say Patriots week 7 to 10. They're 4-0, scoring 37.5 a game, only allowing 12.5 with a +6 turnover differential. Matt Ryan has the tendency now to throw it to the other team quite a bit. So, I mean, I expect some turnovers. He'll probably have a flawless game just because I said that. I just don't think that the Falcons will have enough. I don't think it'll be another week where a team can just all out blitz, and the O coordinator, I think McDaniels will probably adjust, unlike Greg Roman last week. He won't say we'll probably find a way to win. So I think the Patriots take care of business on the road. Mac Jones is going to get his 5th straight win, which I believe it'll break Drew Bledsoe's streak for most consecutive, I believe, Patriots wins for a rookie quarterback with 5 straight if he does come out victorious on Thursday. But I don't think there's a way I could really spin it. I mean, maybe they get lucky and Mac Jones throws a couple bad passes, but nothing has shown over the past 4 weeks that the Patriots and Mac Jones are slowing down. They're getting better, and it's kind of scary to watch as a dark horse team in the AFC. And I know the Buffalo Bills are going to be heavily watching this New England team tomorrow night.
That's funny. You found the one New England quarterback stat or record that's not held by Tom Brady, huh?
Right. Yeah. Drew Bledsoe, good old Drew, man. Good old Drew, 1993, man. What a guy. But that's it. I agree. I think Patriots by 10 points, but I would not be surprised if they don't cover, just because I picked them and I came on here and said Patriots by 10 points. So come on, Mac, just do it for me. Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, call another good game, and let's get rolling. I think Damian Harris is also he's set to come back as well. So I mean, they'll have now a 2-headed dragon with Harris and Ramondre in the backfield. Good luck, Atlanta. But let's keep it rolling. Let's go in straight into Sunday slate. Good one. This is kind of a loser leaves town game. When you look at it, both teams are the Bengals obviously still battling for the division. The Raiders hypothetically are still battling for the division. They're only 1 game out of it, although it feels like they're 5 games out of it, the way they're sliding and everything that's going on with their franchise. Obviously, you got the Bengals. They're sitting at 5-4 as well. A couple disappointing games, especially the last one before the bye week, getting smoked at home by Cleveland, who obviously we saw Cleveland isn't that good because they went on the road and got dominated by a rookie quarterback and Bill Belichick. But this is really a game where I'm sitting back and I'm saying, can the Cincinnati Bengals get things going? We saw where they were pre-bye week before the slump. To be honest, we saw them roll the Ravens in Baltimore. We saw them really look good, and then we kind of see the reverse Jekyll and Hyde team where Joe Burrow throws 100-yard pick sixes in the red zone, which you can't do. I'm just looking for a clean game out of Joe Burrow, make the smart passes. The offense is kind of tailored for him to make smart passes. He just got to try to not force the ball, get some Joe Mixon going. I'm always a fan of Joe. I'm always a fan of when Joe Mixon gets rolling. Obviously, I got him on a fantasy team. But I mean, when you look at it, the Bengals, they've kind of the past, their past 2 games, they've allowed 34 and 41 points. And then weeks 1 through 7, they're only allowing 18 points a game. So you look at the defense is kind of sliding as well. That defense that was built to shut down Lamar is kind of trending in the wrong way. Also, another, the Bengals have lost their first game after the bye in each of the last 5 seasons. That's not a good sign. I rolled Bengals. It was a one. It's basically a pick 'em. I'm just gonna trust that Zach Taylor, not really Zach Taylor to be honest, that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon and the defense attack Derek Carr and kind of finish off the Raiders. The Raiders are sliding bad, and I think they're just asking to be put away after last week's game. What do you see out here?
This is an interesting matchup. Both teams are like in the same exact spot right now. They really can't afford to lose. They're both technically in their division race, close divisions, good divisions. Both started strong. Both are sliding. I just have to lean the Bengals. I went with the Raiders last week against the Chiefs. I thought they could bounce back because I liked what I saw earlier in the year, but they've had so much adversity. They did not look good against the Chiefs. They gave up a lot of points. It's just hard to have confidence in the Raiders. Like looking at their offense, like they miss Ruggs from that unfortunate event. They don't have enough weapons. It's just the passing game doesn't have enough weapons. I mean, Hunter Renfrow runs nice routes, right? But he can't be leading your team in targets and yards and receptions. It's just not going to really work out in the long run. And that's really why I'm leaning Cincinnati. I like them coming off the bye week. Both teams are obviously in a bounce back spot. The bye just helps them more. And I like the weapons for Joey B more. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. I just like that offense right now way more than the Raiders. I really don't know what to expect from both defenses. Hopefully they play better than they have the last few weeks, but I'm really just leaning towards Cincinnati to pick them because I like the offensive weapons slightly better, and it's hard to side with the Raiders because they have not looked good recently.
Yeah, the Raiders are kind of unraveling. I mean, I think it's going to come down to Joe Burrow not turning the ball over. We've seen, he's turned the ball over quite a bit, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks. Obviously, the differential is not bad, but he's thrown some untimely interceptions. Obviously, the pick sixes in the Bears game were noticeable, and then the pick sixes against the Browns. He forces passes. I mean, one thing for the Raiders is they know how to get to the quarterback. They lead the NFL with 37% of quarterback pressures, right? So Joe Burrow, the O-line is not the greatest in Cincinnati. They've kind of revamped it a little bit, but I mean, when the Raiders, if they can get after Joe Burrow and really force that O-line's hand, I expect the game to kind of be a razor thin, like one or two plays will make the difference. I think it'll be razor close. I mean, both teams are going to want it. Both teams are battling still. And although the Raiders are sliding, I don't think they're just going to come out and lay down. But I side with the Bengals as well. I think they'll have enough. You mentioned the weapons. I like the weapons that they have all along. But yeah, it could be a closer game. I don't think it'll be a runaway by any stretch.
Yeah, and the pass rush for the Raiders is a big deal because, like we've said many times, we don't have confidence in this Bengals offensive line. So if you can get to Joey B, he's shown that he can make mistakes. But when you talk about like it's about the quarterback who makes the least amount of mistakes, I just think Derek Carr has to force certain things because he doesn't have a lot offensively right now. So it's like when you feel the need to force things, or you feel the need that you got to get the ball down the field, it kind of opens up for some more mistakes. So it'll be interesting.
For sure. Yeah, they got to scheme some things for Darren Waller, maybe get a little bit creative. I mean, if you're the Bengals side,
Crossing routes.
Yeah, where I mentioned the quarterback pressures, Joe Burrow has the third highest completion percentage when he's under pressure. So he's kind of used to it. He says, yeah, my O-line's shit, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'll sit in there, I'll take a hit. He's kind of shown that willingness even when he was at LSU to take hits and go out there and make plays. I mean, I think razor thin game, whichever quarterback doesn't force the rock, that's what it'll come down to. I'm kind of excited to watch this because when you get a team, whichever team loses, is probably on the way out of the picture. And there's a lot at stake considering how both teams started and now where they're sitting. You kind of didn't expect the Bengals when they smoked the Ravens to be sitting 5-4, really playing for their life at this point.
Yeah, both teams with the hot start, and obviously the loser of this goes down really bad. But I don't know. I think there's also a scenario we see neither of these teams make the wild card. It's just like so tight right now in the AFC. So like every game matters. So like when we look at these like close pick'em games, it gets really fun, like really interesting because like this game's definitely going to matter in a month or so when the standings are getting really close.
Yep. Games like this will matter, and then home blowout losses to your division rivals will come back to haunt you. Both of these teams, they both have one. So I mean, hey, we sit here we'll definitely see it on Sunday. What quarterback can get the job done, and what pass rush can really get after the other quarterback. I think that's what it comes down to out in Las Vegas this week. But I mean, let's keep it moving. Let's move on basically to I would call it. I mean, I think it is America's game of the week, if I'm not mistaken. On Fox, it might be a CBS game. I don't know, to be honest, but this is the game of the week. Everybody's going to be tuned in to this one, Arrowhead Stadium. Obviously, we've seen the Chiefs and what they did last week, hanging up 41 on the Raiders, who we just talked about. They really got their mojo back. As Travis Kelce said, I think I got my swagger back. So, I mean, I think that team, they did have a little bit of that swagger, not turning the ball over, really freeing up plays, not getting greedy, hitting guys over the middle, and just playing smart football. And that's kind of what they have to do, that offense. We know what their defense is. Their defense is bad, although it's a little bit better now with the acquisition of Melvin Ingram, as we were talking before this. Getting Melvin Ingram to play that outside linebacker or DN position, the pass rusher off the edge, and then being able to move Chris Jones inside was already a huge difference for that defense. Chris Jones is way better playing the inside D tackle position, nose tackle, than he ever was on the edge. I don't know why Steve Spagnuolo and Andy Reid all of a sudden decided, let's move Chris Jones to the edge. I guess they got their hand forced, but it was good to get Melvin Ingram from Pittsburgh and bring him in. I think that makes their defensive front at least way better when you're looking at facing a Cowboys unit that they can run the ball. They have Tony Pollard. They have Zeke. Dak looked good last week. This team kind of got everything going. They were forcing the turnovers again on defense, though it is Matt Ryan turnovers and Falcons turnovers. So it's like, I'll take it with a grain of salt, but hey, they did it. They got turnovers. We know what their unit is as well. It's not the greatest unit. They have talent. They attack the quarterback. Dan Quinn has done a pretty solid job, but they're another unit that kind of relies on forcing turnovers as well. They've definitely been better. They're better than the Chiefs unit overall, but they kind of rely on the turnover as well. As we've seen Trayvon Diggs, 8 picks. They're doing their thing. Lines razor thin. I think Chiefs are, they're 2.5 at home. They're getting a little home field advantage boost. And obviously the way they looked last week probably gave them another little edge in the spread. I think we're in for a shootout, I would say, on a Sunday afternoon. What do you see here?
I definitely think we're in for a shootout, because Sunday night we saw a little bit of the Mahomes magic. Like you said, the swagger is back. And if they feel like that, then they're going to bring it, because they were getting jump balls, big plays, lots of points. It finally looked like the Chiefs again, which is perfect timing for this Dallas Cowboys to come into Kansas City, because Dallas has been a great football team this year. The Denver game was bad, but every other game they played really, really well. Dak looked good last week. Like you said, the weapons are just really deep. So obviously both offenses can score a ton of points. I have more faith in the Dallas defense than Kansas City's defense, but even if both defenses can't really slow down the offense, either one of these teams can win just by outscoring the other one. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I like the Cowboys simply because they've been more consistent throughout the year. For the full season, they've been a better team. Mahomes looked really good last week, but we've seen him make quite a few mistakes this year. So this Dallas defense that seems to be just getting interceptions almost every week. Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to force one. But I just like this Dallas offense. They get points on the road. I'm just leaning towards Dallas. I like it. The Chiefs have slightly better weapons at the top, but Dallas is just deeper with more options. So like, I don't see how Kansas City can slow down Dallas. I can definitely see how Dallas could force a turnover or two. I just like Dallas. They're getting points on the road. I hate to be favoring Dallas so much, but I think it'll be a close matchup. And I got to give them the nod, because throughout this entire season, they've been a better football team than Kansas City has.
Yeah, it's fair. I flip-flopped on it. I mean, when you look at the quarterbacks, Dak Prescott's played a hell of a season so far. 20 touchdowns, 5 picks, 70% completion percentage, almost 300 yards a game. He's not turning the ball over. He's playing smart, not forcing passes. And that's what you want to see. Obviously, on the other side, Patrick Mahomes has 25 touchdowns, but he has got risky with the 10 picks. I went with the Chiefs just because I kind of think they got the swag back. And I think Mike McCarthy, if there's ever a time to crumble, now's the time, right? You're rolling 7-2, go on the road, huge spotlight matchup against Andy Reid and the boys in Arrowhead. And I think we're bound for a mistake game out of Mike McCarthy, some bad calls, him and Kellen Moore. Just some stats. Amari Cooper's notoriously struggled at Arrowhead, averaging just 16 yards per game in 3 career games at Arrowhead. That's gnarly. And then when you look at the Chiefs defense, I mean, the last 5 games, 4-1 record, they've only allowed 15 points a game down from 33 points, and they've cut 140 yards off allowed. That's a ridiculous that they're allowing 440 yards a game through the first five, and they're down to 300. Turnover differential is not really great, -1, but it was -7 through the first five. So I think they're finding ways. Steve Spagnuolo is finding ways to get a little bit of production. It's not great, but he's finding ways to get a little bit of production. As I said, I kind of rolled with the Chiefs just because they're at home. I expect the crowd to be loud, and maybe their defense will be able to attack. But the Cowboys, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not wrong. The Cowboys haven't allowed a 300-yard passer since Sam Darnold in week 4, and they're allowing 180 passing yards per game since week 6. So their secondary and that front four have been able to attack quarterbacks. We know the Chiefs O-line, not the greatest unit. They add Orlando Brown and Joe Thuney and somehow get worse. So yeah, I trust Andy Reid to get creative and do a little bit of the things that they were doing last week that gave them the edge. But I expect it to be a shootout. I don't really know if the offenses are rolling, like I don't know if either defense is equipped to slow down the other. But I'm just going to roll. I think the Chiefs crowd will get into it, and they will eventually force Dak into a mistake.
Yeah, that's not crazy at all. The atmosphere will be rolling. And I honestly do think it's going to get to the point where the defense, by like the fourth quarter, the defenses are not stopping the offense. So it's just going to be a scoring fest. But to the coaching point, yeah, I never have faith in Mike McCarthy. I've seen him make boneheaded decisions. I don't have a lot of confidence in him as a coach. I do have confidence in Dak. He's been very good. So I'm going to just use that to offset it. But like I said, the Cowboys have been better for the year. It's going to be a coin flip. I'm very excited to watch this game. I'd probably take the over as well if I was betting it.
There's going to be there is going to be some points scored. I just think the Cowboys are it's just typical Cowboys, right? The Cowboys they're bound to do something to lead into a headline coming Monday morning to be like, is Dallas not really back? And we'll see some Skip Bayless tweets and some Shannon Sharp yelling at him. I just think it's bound to happen, right? Everything has gone too perfect in this season for the Cowboys, minus the Broncos game. Like, this has been the perfect Cowboys season out of the gates.
I will say this. I would love to be wrong and Dallas crumbles and they look bad and everything, because fuck the Cowboys, but they're just damn good, dude. I just don't see it happening, but I would love to be wrong. A Dallas crumble against Kansas City would be very entertaining for me.
Yeah, I told you 12 wins in the preseason. Go back to that video. I was a 12 wins Cowboys guy, but I don't know. I don't think they'll be like terrible. I just think, hey, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid they'll force one thing, and that'll give them an edge. Like, I expect a hell of a game. I don't know, 38-35, like something wild, where we're just sitting back watching these offenses battle it out. But yeah, it should be a good one, like you mentioned. Like, let's get it rolling, because Sunday night's gonna be a stinker. So. Yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's straight up just jump into the stinker. We got the Steelers going on the road at the Chargers. They're 5.5-point underdogs. I don't even know really where to begin with this. I mean, I guess you can start with last week's tie, but it's like, that was brutal. No Big Ben, obviously. I don't even know if he'll be cleared in time. I assume he'll be cleared. I don't know his vaccination status. I don't know if he's been hanging out with Joe Rogan like Aaron Rodgers to get a quick clearance the following weeks. I don't know what that's doing. I know Minkah Fitzpatrick was put on the COVID list Monday, I believe. So I don't think he's making the trip out there. And we know what it is. Like, if Mason Rudolph has to come out, they might as well start Dwayne Haskins. Like, to be honest, you have nothing to lose. I mean, we've seen Mason Rudolph. I mean, we've seen him literally get his skull dented by a helmet, and he probably should have been out of the league then, but he just somehow keeps hanging around. So, I mean, it's kind of a game for the Chargers to just take care of business at home and get the thing rolling again. We were really so high on the Chargers through like 5 or 6 weeks, to where it was we were jumping through the roof, and then we kind of see Justin Herbert come back to life. When they're losing, he's not very good. In the wins, he has 14 touchdowns and a pick, and then in their losses, 5 touchdowns, 6 picks. Passer rating way down. I really don't know where to go with this, because I don't know who's playing quarterback. Obviously, if Big Ben plays, the Steelers have a better shot to win if anybody else takes the quarterback job. But I mean, it's gonna be heavy Najee Harris game. No Joey Bosa for the Chargers, if I did not mention that. It's kind of a game where both teams have to find it. The Chargers are kind of under some pressure. They've been sliding, and then after last week's tie, it's definitely big pressure on the Steelers to go on the road and try to steal a W in Los Angeles. But I honestly cannot say that I'm super excited for this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Steelers games. This is another nationally televised Steeler game. I'm picking against them again. I picked them once and they let me down. I'm going to go again, go back to the routine of picking against the Steelers. If they don't have Big Ben, it's really hard to see them like winning this game. In classic Steelers fashion, they could play good defense and win by a field goal. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'm expecting a lot of Najee Harris, a lot of the run game. Hopefully, Big Ben plays so we get a better game. But to me, this is about like a get right spot for the Chargers. You're at home. You lost to the Vikings last week, Sunday Night Football. But like we were so high on the Chargers, like you said, and they were getting like 300 yards a game passing, and they were doing really well for the first half. And now Justin Herbert's having a hard time getting to 225, 250. I'm not saying this is like the reason because it doesn't work that way, but Mike Williams was getting like 10 plus targets a game for the first half, and they were getting 300 yards and those big chunk plays. And they've been like kind of missing that the last month. I think they should really try and force feed Mike Williams a little bit, get that big body, and like even in coverage because he's the dude that can catch the ball when he's open when he's not open. And I think you just need a little bit more Mike Williams to get some chunk yardage plays in this offense going again. Because to me, that's kind of what's been lacking. He's been having like 5.5-ish targets the last month compared to like 10.5 for the first month and then Justin Herbert's passing yards are down like 75. Like that's not the only reason it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple, but I definitely think this is a get right spot for him. Try to get the offense humming. And to me, it means a lot of Mike Williams. I want to see him get 10 targets again because like he's just a talented big bodied receiver and he's open when he's not. So like I think we should just see more heavy dosage of Mike Williams. And I really hope we can see this Chargers offense get going again because they're so lethal when they're humming.
I think it's going to be a spread the rock around to whoever, to be honest. Joe Hayden, foot injury. He's probably not playing. TJ Watt was questionable coming off a hip and a knee. Like, I don't know if he makes the trip and plays. I wouldn't be surprised if he did make the trip and play, to be honest. TJ Watt's, he's a warrior. So, I mean, I could see him doing it, but I don't think he's on track. Obviously, I mentioned Minka's not there. So, I mean, it's a time for Justin Herbert to kind of sit back and just tear them up, right? Just absolutely just go to town. When you look at the Steelers, as a unit, they have the lowest blitz rate in the league at 22%. So, I mean, there are a lot of soft zone. When you have a beat up secondary or guys that are just not going to be there, right? It's a field day. You got to blitz to kind of cover up the secondary. Obviously, the Steelers don't do that. They sit back in soft coverage and kind of hope the quarterback will make a mistake. Yeah, I don't think it'll work. I expect almost everybody to eat for the Chargers. And then yeah, it's going to be heavy Najee. Even if Big Ben plays, I think it's heavy Najee. I mean, he's on pace for 416 touches this year, which is
Jeez.
yeah, it'd be third most for a rookie behind Eric Dickerson and Edgerrin James. So it's just ridiculous usage out of Najee Harris, obviously coming off the Alabama year. I don't know how many straight years of just giving him that much usage you want to do, but when you don't have a quarterback or a consistent quarterback, that's what you're kind of forced into doing. But I mean, we look at the Chargers defensive unit. I think if there's Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins back there, like they will sit back and just tee it up all day, right? It's going to just be he will get beat up. Yeah, I look at it perfect get well seen for the Chargers. They're not out of it. 5-4, they win this. They get to 6-4. They're right on pace. If the Chiefs lose, or if the Chiefs even win, they're only a game out of it, and they still have a game left to play the Chiefs at home as well. So I mean, the Chargers are still right into it. The Steelers are kind of a wait and see. As you said, in the fashion of the Steelers, they'll somehow find a way to win, and Justin Herbert will play like garbage. But I don't expect it. Just too many guys missing on the Steelers side, and it's going to be a too one-dimensional game plan, especially if Big Ben does not play.
If the Steelers pulled off this upset, I'd be very impressed with the Steelers, and I would be very concerned for the Chargers. I just think it's a long shot with all the injuries, everybody missing. I really hope this is a get right spot for the Chargers.
Yeah, they better have a field day. I think it's right there to be had, and I expect it. So I also rolled with the Chargers. Dude, we don't roll, as I said, we don't. I could have easily went with the Steelers, but this one didn't feel like a Steelers stupid underdog game with all the injuries. That is usually my saying when the Steelers are like stupid underdogs. I'll roll with them, but too much going against them to roll with them at this time. So I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Chargers get it together and show us the team you were from the beginning of the season. Get back rolling and get it right for playoff time. Yeah, let's simply move on. Final game on the slate is obviously Monday Night Football. A super exciting matchup once again. We got Daniel Jones, New York Giants, the Joe Judge Giants going down to Tampa Bay. 6-3 Tampa obviously went to Washington, got bottled up, beat up, and abused by Taylor Heineke. Yeah, nothing went right for them. Tom Brady, yeah, he's obviously going to come out hungry, look to get it right. One thing, Daniel Jones has been better on the road than he is at home. He has 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 98 passer rating on the road this year. In his 5 games at home, he's 3-3, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, a 79.9 passer rating. So for some reason, he's a god on the road. A lot of points are being given out. Obviously, Bucs were favored by 11. I'm simply just rolling. Tom Brady's going to get it right? They're going to find a way to do it. Tom Brady's been comfortable at home, 4-0, 18 touchdowns, 2 picks at home. He's been mediocre, pretty mediocre. I'd say 2-3 with 9 touchdowns, 5 picks on the road. And yeah, it's kind of one where it's like, is Tampa really going to lose 3 straight? And is the 3rd straight loss really going to be to the Giants? Like they lost 2 straight for the first time since weeks 11 and 12 of last year. And I just don't expect Tom Brady to be bad. I was kind of weird on the spread pick. I rolled with the Bucs. I don't know. Something told me Bucs. I could easily see Daniel Jones running the rock around, getting some touchdowns. Obviously, that defense for the Bucs is beat up. Vita Vea is not going to be there. But I'm just going to say a pissed off Tom Brady at home in primetime comes out. I don't know what the status of AB is. Probably out again. I think he's still in a walking boot. So it's like, I don't know, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Lenny, get it going. I mean, maybe let Rojo out of the doghouse. And I kind of expect Tom Brady to come out fired up to beat up on the Giants.
Yeah, I definitely think the Bucs bounce back and get a W here, but I have the Giants covering the spread. The Bucs haven't looked great offensively. AB was hinting at his return, but that's not from the team. That's from like his own like social media post. So I wouldn't put a lot of confidence in that at all. And the Bucs lost Vita Vea. And then like you make good points. Daniel Jones plays well on the road. The Giants have a pretty good defense. They played the Bucs really well last year. The Giants, for some reason, every time I count them out or they have like a big spread, they come in and play close. And even they usually lose the game, but they cover the spread and play close. And I think that's going to happen here. I think the Bucs do some good things. They get a W. They get back on the positive track. I don't think they roll though. I think the Daniel Jones and the Giants, like the defense slows down Brady enough, and Daniel Jones gets, just enough scoring drives, probably 2 to 3 touchdown drives. And then they cover the spread. I do not expect New York to win, but 11 points is a lot. Tampa Bay hasn't looked great. The Giants defense has played pretty well. I like the spread, but I like the Bucs to win.
Yeah, I rolled with the Bucs. Obviously, I already said it. Yeah, just they're back at home. I think the past 2 games, past 2 losses at New Orleans, at Washington. They're clearly, they got to figure it out. They're not great on the road, and obviously the way they're trending, if the other teams don't fall, I mean, the playoffs will be on the road, so they're going to have to figure out the road games. But I think it's just perfect time to go home. The last time they lost 2 in a row, obviously I mentioned, was last year, weeks 11 and 12. They rolled off 8 straight W's, and they looked unstoppable. So yeah, I'm just trusting Tom with this one. I'm trusting the GOAT. 11-point favorite at home, where he's looked great all year, and the team's really looked like a completely different team all year. Funny thing about the Giants, though, is their 3-6 record through 9 games is their best start since 2016, when they were 6-3. So that's a hilarious. Mike Evans has averaged 116 with 6 touchdowns in 5 games against the Giants. So he eats against the Giants. Yeah, I mean, I guess the stats, if you're looking at spreads, on your side when Tom Brady faces the Giants in his 6 of his 8 career games against the Giants have been decided by 4 points or less. He's a 3-3 record. Obviously, the Super Bowls, super close games. So I mean, the Giants do give him a tough time. I don't know, but I just felt like a pissed off Tom Brady at home is going to want to put on a show and kind of get himself back up into the MVP ladder, get those stats padding again, and just get out there and have some fun. Because last week he definitely didn't look like he was having fun, and I don't expect like 2 weeks of untimely turnovers, to be honest. Some weird interceptions, bad reads, and misfires to give the Giants extra possessions. But I mean, yeah, Daniel Jones could be do some weird stuff, right? He likes to run around and run for 80-yard touchdowns in primetime games. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I couldn't talk myself in to taking the Giants in this one.
Yeah, I mean, all signs point towards the Bucs To me, it's as simple as I just think 11 points is a lot.
Yeah, that's facts. Hey, I said it. I've done it twice in a row with the Jets, a similar bad luck squad, a couple other teams as well, and I'm
It's
just
always these New York teams, man.
yeah, I'm not willing to take my chances here. I mean, that really does it for the games wise. Any other games that kind of intrigue you before we kind of move on to the spreads?
Colts Bills looked interesting. Like I could see the Colts staying competitive and they could even upset. I just think the Bills take a lead with that passing game. And like when you rely on Carson Wentz so much, you put pressure on him. I'm assuming he's going to make a mistake at some point. So I like the Bills on Sunday. That one's interesting. Cam Newton and the Panthers against Ron Rivera's Washington team. The spread's like 3.5. That one's very interesting too. I leaned Panthers, but to me, that feels coin flippy.
Yeah, facts. Honestly, Riverboat Ron returning to Carolina to face Cam Newton. That just feels like a storybook game. Super cool matchup. I rolled Washington, just kind of rolling with the hotter hand. He let Taylor Heineke have fun, and they seem to find a way. But I'm excited to watch Cam. I mean, Cam most likely starting Sunday against his former head coach should be dope. Also, yeah, that Buffalo game, I expect Josh Allen to come out early and often, get up a couple scores, and then just force Carson Wentz's hand. He's on the road. I don't know what I can expect out of Carson Wentz when he's down. And then just another one, obviously divisional matchup, 2-point spread. Green Bay goes to Minnesota. Should be fun. Kirk Cousins can score points. So I mean, we'll see what it is. And then Baltimore going on the road for a dicey one. It was like 5. We got to see if they can get it back going. Right, facing Justin Fields. I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued just to watch Justin Fields play and see his development, and also if Baltimore can kind of get things back on track after that disaster in Miami last week. And then last one, obviously, Kyler Murray meets up with Russell Wilson. As bad as the records are, but between with the Seahawks being 3-6, the game should still be fun. They seem to always have fun games for some odd reason.
Yeah, I really like Arizona in that one if Kyler is going to play.
Yeah,
They've had a really good year. The roster is much better as a whole. You get your MVP caliber quarterback. It feels like a Cardinals game, but it is in Seattle, divisional game. Should be fun.
facts. I'm all Cardinals too. Kyler said I'm basically good to go. So he's playing Sunday. Would be super surprised if he doesn't play. So he's a roll. So it's going to be him versus Russ. Should be fun. But yeah, Cardinals 2.5 was like a no brainer for me with how bad that Seahawks team is outside of Russ and DK. But yeah, let's just jump, I guess, straight into the spreads, kind of to wrap this thing up. See where we went in week 11. Obviously, records above. John holds a 4-game lead over you. I'm sitting down in the basement, last place. I feel like we all had kind of some similar picks, to be honest. Maybe a few games went off, but a lot of us the same way. Maybe a couple differences, but for the most part, I feel like we all picked in the same range, which doesn't really help if I was trying to make a move to the top, to be honest.
Yep. The one that stands out to me though is the Dolphins 3.5. When they said Joe Flacco is the starter, that made it a really easy choice to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that one as well. Yeah, Joe Flacco is a joke. What other one did I kind of like? I don't know why, but I liked Jags +6. I don't know. They found a way to cover last week. They kind of looked decent and pretty good in that second half. And I just don't know, is Kyle Shanahan going to look good for, is Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan as a duo going to look good for 2 straight weeks, right? We know that Urban Meyer is not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but they're at home. They're kind of putting a few things together. And I just think I can't really trust the 49ers up there. So I kind of like the Jags at home to potentially pull the upset on the 49ers, especially coming off a big division win for the 49ers, right? It's like, it's hard to keep that momentum when you go across the country to face a team that you probably should beat. And they very well could beat, but I expect it to kind of be closer than we would think.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I was looking at that one for a little bit, but I have a hard time picking an Urban Meyer Jags team this year. I just feel much more comfortable picking the Niners, and they finally looked good last week. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy that the Jags cover at home. They managed to cover against the Colts after starting out terribly last week. So
Exactly. They literally let up 100 yards to Jonathan Taylor in 1 quarter, and they found a way to get it done. So I mean, yeah, there's I don't know. This week, I guess, will not be the week. Maybe I can make up some ground on second place. Maybe I can, I don't know, the games that we alternated on. Maybe I can get those right and move into second and make my push to come after John.
I- Yeah, I see we all believe in the Tyrod Taylor Texans and the points after a bye week.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of points. Yeah, especially the last week, dude. Like the Titans had it wrapped up to cover, and then they do that, and literally let Trevor Siemian backdoor him. So I was like, if you're gonna give me 10 points in Tyrod, and obviously no Derrick Henry, I'm gonna trust. I don't know. I'm gonna semi-trust Tyrod Taylor to yeah, cover that for sure. And then yeah, John went against the Eagles. He's rolling with Trevor Siemian in
I saw that.
Philly. I said it before, there's not another loss on our schedule, and we're going to take care of business once again.
I was going to bring up the Eagles. This is a good opportunity for them. It would be a very Eagles thing to not look good this week at home against the Saints after they finally got a good W. But man, they have a chance to finally build on something. So this is probably the most excited I've been for an Eagles game all season.
Exactly. Sirianni, keep the highlighters at home. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, that's really all we got on the slate for this evening and for week 11, week 11's preview as a whole. Just want to thank everybody for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions. As always, the Spotify link will be posted in the description of this video. If you're an audio only listener, you can follow us on Spotify as we upload at the same time that these videos go live on YouTube. They go live on the Spotify. And yeah, thanks for listening. And we'll see y'all next Tuesday to wrap up whatever madness happens in week 11.